Hey, it's Cassidy at the Poets Corner here with another author interview. And today I'm excited to be speaking with a debut fantasy author, Wrenna Stone, as we talk all about her upcoming release, Visions, the Keepers of Astrela. So, how you doing today, Ren?
Pretty good. It's been a nice day, thankfully, and I'm so excited to be here.
Yay, sweet. I'm really excited to speak to you too. I can't wait to talk about your book coming out in just a couple of days. But before we get to that, I'm going to ask some kind of get to know you questions. So, where are you from?
I'm from the northeastern United States in Pennsylvania, and I've been a small town girl my whole life.
Oh my gosh, really? I literally just moved from central Pennsylvania to Las Vegas about a year ago, and it was like I lived there for 2 years. I originally lived in Las Vegas, moved there, and then moved back after I got married. And I loved small town living. It is like so different from the city, but all the nature up there, like we lived right by a river, all the hills and trees, like oh my gosh, it's unmatched. It's so
Yes.
beautiful. So I bet all of the nature is like amazing inspiration for writing as well, huh?
Oh, yes. And I, for some reason, every book that I write has a forest in it. And
Oh,
so I just tend to sit outside and I'm like, okay, trees, we're gonna write today.
oh, that's perfect. I love that for you. So, what are some of your favorite books or authors that have shaped your writing style?
Oh man. Growing up, I always loved fairy tales, and especially fractured fairy tales. So the biggest one that sticks out to me is the Sisters Grimm series by Michael Buckley. And for a middle grade series, it was pretty dark, but it meshed so well with humor in such a good blend that now I just crave that in any media I consume. And I'm such an avid horror fan, but if you give me like dark and creepy, I'm satisfied, and then you mix it with humor, and I'm obsessed.
The
So like
perfect combo.
yeah, so like shows like Supernatural, Once Upon a Time, those have all definitely influenced things. The Cruel Prince series by Holly Black, and then definitely the chaos and potential darkness of like Dungeons and Dragons campaigns and all of the witty and crazy decisions and everything that happened in that.
Nice. Are you a gamer?
Oh yes, 100%.
Yeah. Oh, sweet. Okay, well, I was gonna say, when you're not writing, what are you doing?
Oh yes. Oh man, when I'm not writing, definitely video games is my top thing. Legend of Zelda, Skyrim, Final Fantasy, anything like that. I get involved in a lot of D&D and TRT-RPG campaigns on Twitch, which is very fun. I stream usually just as a player in those on there, and then I actually run a game for a group of friends it's actually based in the world of my book.
Oh my gosh, that is so cool. Oh my gosh, like seeing it come to life and oh my goodness, that's amazing. How cool is that? Wonderful. So when did you first get into writing and how has your writing evolved throughout the years?
Oh man, when I was first learning to write, my mom and I read a book together about a middle school girl who had written a book, but because of her age, publishers wouldn't pick it up. And so she created a pseudonym with her dad and had her dad go and pitch this book to publishing agencies. He eventually sold it, and then her pen name ended up becoming massively popular. And I remember sitting down telling my mom, that's going to be me. I want to write someday. I never stopped. So it started out as like Scooby-Doo fan fiction, stories about like fairy tales, whatever popped into my brain. And later in life, it became a good way for me to just cope with life and whatever life threw at me. So I would like throw all of these horrible things at my characters and let them suffer and laugh at them and just let it be sadism in its finest. But it worked. And so, like, at a really young age, I started writing professionally. Like, I was wasting no time. As like 13, 14 years old, I'm like, this is happening. And at first, I didn't know how to really separate like my normal way of writing to cope from that professional side where you have to realize like there's an audience and you're no longer just writing for yourself.
Yeah.
So instead of being blunt and writing and being like, okay, I'm going to give this character this incredibly specific thing that I just went through, but it doesn't fit at all with this plot, I found ways of like weaving all that together into a cohesive narrative and writing between the lines. And now every story pretty much has like these metaphorical morals weaved in, and it's kind of made it therapy and entertainment in one little package.
Oh, that is so cool. So have you submitted stories to magazines and stuff like that?
Yeah, yeah. I remember my first big break. I was about 13, and I had submitted a story to J14 magazine back when that was a big thing. And it was a fan fiction about a celebrity. And I got so excited when it came out in the magazine and I was showing it to everybody. And that was my first like taste of professional writing. And I was so excited and it never stopped from there.
Oh my gosh, that's so cool. That's so cool how your parents like nurtured you and let you be able to express yourself like that from such a young age and even start submitting to magazines. That's really amazing. So, I'm excited to learn more about your upcoming release, Visions, the Keepers of Astrela. And am I saying that right? Astrela?
Australia.
Okay, sweet. Oh, that's so pretty. I love it. Coming out on August 15th. So tell me more about this world you've created.
Oh, yes. Vision is a story that I've wanted to tell for so many years, like about writers' books come to life. But I wanted to put a twist on it where it wasn't like whatever she wrote down suddenly happened, but instead it was happening in another world and she was experiencing it and then writing it down and finds out it's actually happening. So in Vision, Eva has these very vivid dreams about a necromancer named Thana and her phoenix companion named Emrys. And she turns them into this self-published series that she puts into the library that she works in. And Thana and Emerson's world is being killed by this corruptive darkness that's turning the land into horrific monstrosities. And come to find out, Eva is a visionary that's connected to these characters and the land of Estrela, which she finds out when Emrys saves her life on Earth and admits that he's been watching over her, and the
Oh,
Earth is actually at risk of the same corruption. And together they end up traveling to Australia together, and they not only to save the world from corruption, but also because of a mystery that's surrounding Thana and a disappearance that she's had.
oh my goodness. That is so cool. I love that you're writing about an author as well, writing her own book. Like, that is perfect. I love it. I'm sold already, and I will definitely be pre-ordering. Oh, and I was going to ask you that you have pre-orders open until your book releases?
I do, yep. I have ebook pre-orders available on Amazon, and then I have hardcover and paperback both on Barnes and Noble.
Ooh, yay! Exciting. Okay, and I will definitely link those in the video description so our audience can check those out and go support you. So, are you doing anything to celebrate your debut release? It is a huge accomplishment, so congrats.
Thank you. I definitely made sure to take some time off work because after all the weeks of like social media pushes and everything, I'm like, I need to decompress. But then I have that weekend, the upcoming weekend, I actually have a book signing at a local craft fair, which would be like the perfect way to just round out the whole release week.
Yeah, oh, that's so cool. And I love that you also have character art and yeah, your social media campaign for promoting your book for the release has been amazing. I love all your different TikToks and Instagram reels. Like, you're honestly amazing.
Oh, thank you. I have way too much fun with the reels and like torturing my characters, and it's like, okay, this is fun. This is my thing right here.
It's perfect. I love it. So, how has the self-publishing journey been so far? Since this is your first novel that you're releasing. So, how's that been?
Huge learning curve for
Yeah.
sure. A lot more expensive than I thought it would be, but totally worth it. Like, I love having the creative control over everything. When I was younger, I used to submit like to different agents and like small publishers that would accept first time submissions. And it was just a very draining process. And then like some of the other authors that I knew that were traditional published, I'm like, this just isn't for me. So going into self-publishing was kind of scary, but it's evolved so much over the years and with so many resources, it's been crazy to just watch the whole book come together from start to finish.
Yeah, that's so great. So, yes, tell me a little bit more about your writing process for Vision and how long it took you to write it.
It took me about 3 years. It was definitely a long haul and a lot longer than it would normally take me to write something. But 5 years ago, I suffered from back-to-back concussions that made writing misery.
Oh my
I I've
gosh.
had a very mild version of dyslexia since I was a kid, and most people didn't even know because I was always eyeball deep in a book, and I had taught myself to kind of speed read. And after the concussions, it got to a point where reading and writing was a chore because everything that I taught myself to do over the years no longer worked. And the words were moving around the page a lot worse. And it was like it was like all the letters were on more caffeine than I ever could be. And it made like all the post-concussive migraines so much worse.
Oh,
And so I stopped writing for a long time. And then before the pandemic, I had a very strange dream, like about myself and my friend and this man who was like throwing flames everywhere. And we were trying to save the world from this darkness. And it stuck with me. And so during the pandemic, when I finally had some time, I'm like, okay, I'm going to sit down and we're just going to try it out, see where it goes. And by the end of the week, I had a 15,000 word document of just world building and notes.
oh my
And
gosh.
it brought back this love of writing that I never had before. And so I started posting it online. I used to post it on Wattpad just to try to get some general feedback. Didn't really expect anything from it. And it ended up getting over 40,000 reads. And by the end of it, I'm like, I never thought this many people would even be interested in it, let
Oh,
alone. And so it's definitely turned out into something much bigger than I ever expected it to be.
that is so exciting. So, yes, I understand you are an indie writer. Tell me a little bit more about that. And like, that's amazing that you were able to overcome something that was so difficult like that. And that almost like took away the joy from things that, you used to love and then being able to come back to it and rediscover. So, yeah, talk to me about that.
Yes, I'm both dyslexic and ADHD, very heavily on the inattentive side. So focus is not my strong suit, especially when words are going everywhere, and I'm like, okay, I can't do this right now. And growing up, people would always tell me like, you're so dedicated. I would set aside times to write, and I'd carry a notebook, but they never realized that I could sit down for that a lot of time and maybe write 2 words because I'm losing my focus. And um, so on the ADHD side, I've found over the years that like hyperfixation is my key. Like I will get so immersed into my books that I talk nonstop about them. That's all I think about, all I do, and it drives my friends and family crazy, but it works. Like it keeps me in
Yeah.
tune with it, and I can't stop writing.
Yeah.
Um, but so struggling to focus is my big thing, and it can be a guessing game. Like some days I can't listen to any kind of music or anything, it's too distracting. Other times the silence is too loud, so I have to have something in the background, or I have to have like the keyboard that makes click clack sounds that make my brain happy and it lets me keep writing. And for my dyslexia, I've found that if I write like 2 different sets of drafts, it actually helps me. And it's hard for me to look at what I'm writing as I'm writing it because the words and letters will start to move and it's like I get distracted. So I found that if it's a day where my focus allows me, I'll put on a TV show and my eyes will be over here on the TV, my words are over here, and I just let myself type out these what I call skeleton drafts, which is writing out my whole book in a script form. And it's mostly just word vomit and bare bones, not much description, mostly dialogue because I used to write a lot of like stage plays. And so I tend to let myself go back to that. And then later on, I can go back and when like a different draft and flush it out a little more and take that time to try to laser in. But editing is still a whole different beast in itself that I'll
Yeah.
I'll never forget like spell checking is I turn into autocorrect, the human version of it. Like my editors found the phrase book disco somewhere instead of book display.
Oh.
When I do typos, I do them well.
Yeah. Oh, that's really cool. Well, it's good that you've been able to find, ways that help you and doing different things like that. The skeleton draft seems really, really cool. And I really love that idea. That's awesome.
Thank you.
I'm sure it helps. Yeah, drafting is hard, especially when you're redrafting something like you've already written, and sometimes it feels like you're with your story so long. Sometimes it's hard to like step back, edit and revise things the way they should be, but I love that idea. That's really cool. So, yes, let's talk a little bit more about your TikTok and Instagram. So, for our audience who can follow you at Wrenna Stone on TikTok and Instagram and Threads, tell us what we can expect content wise from you there.
Oh, I would love to tell you that you're going to find like wonderful aesthetic pictures and social media that's pleasing to the eye, but mine's pretty much chaos. It's just okay, there's some random fan art here. There's a TikTok here where I kind of look like a gremlin yelling at my characters. Here's a story excerpt. But yeah, if you're looking for chaos, that's pretty much where I go. That's my impulsive writer brain is just like, oh, this popped into my mind. Let's post.
I love that. No, you have such great content. It's so funny and relatable for writers and authors. And so I highly encourage anybody watching to definitely go check her out at Wrenna Stone. And you will not be disappointed, I promise. So for your character art, do you draw any of it, or do you have it's like fan art, or and like your cover, do you have somebody else design it? Tell me a little bit more about that.
Oh yes, I'm not like the worst artist in the world, but definitely not very good. My cover designer is Crayfigs Designs. They are fantastic. They're signed on now for the rest of the series. I absolutely love their work. And then all of the illustrations that you see are done by an Instagram user named Coriferous, and they are the most incredible artists. They actually the initial like full color art that I used to promote, I had originally commissioned them to do for me for a Wattpad chapter banner. And later on, I got the commercial rights from them. And then I came to them and I was like, hey, would you be, possibly willing to do some illustrations inside the book? And they weren't even accepting commissions at this time. So I'm like, there's no way. And they took it on just special. And I was like, you are amazing.
Oh,
And so they've done an inside cover art for me and three different illustrations throughout the book for each act.
sweet. That's so cool. Yeah, I think I remember seeing one of your TikToks showing the different the act images, and they look really cool. I love it when you can like, visualize characters, and there's no better way to do that than commissioning an artist. And oh, yay. Okay, sweet. So what is in store for the future? Do you have any other writing related projects in the works? I know this is book one of a series, so what are your plans for the series and what you working on next?
Yes. My main focus is kind of split between three different projects. The main one is the Keepers of Astrela trilogy. There's two more books coming out. Book two, I'm still in the drafting process, and then I'm solidifying like all the outlines and everything for the last book. And aside from that, I have a short series of prequel novellas for them, and it's all on Wattpad just to kind of keep the Wattpad family in there because that's definitely where I got my start, and hopefully find some new readers through them. And then the third project is probably the most fun and exciting one. A few months ago, I signed on to actually do a video game adaptation for the Keepers of Astrela. And it's going to be a visual novel in like a choose your own adventure style format. And the readers can take their own journey through the series. And so it's something that I'm actually hoping to write the game script for. And we're hoping to get the demo up for our Kickstarter campaign in October.
Oh my gosh, that is so exciting, especially you being a gamer and yeah, writing scripts. Like, how cool is that? That's like every author's dream, like to be able to see their book come to life like that. How exciting. Oh my goodness. So is it going to be like an app or like a video game? Like how do you have like big picture stuff, or you're just working on the building blocks right now?
Right now, our goal is for an initial release on Steam. We've talked about potentially branching out in the future, but we'll see like game sales and Kickstarter wise how it goes. But for right now, it'll be on Steam for PC.
Wow. Oh, yay. I can't wait. I'll definitely be checking that out. That is so cool.
Thank you.
You're welcome. So, well, that was pretty much all the questions I had for you today. Do you have any closing words, reader or writer advice, anything like that?
I think my biggest thing would just be no matter what might stand in your way, like never ever give up on your dreams because you never know where it's going to take you. Like I never thought I would write again, honestly, and to now be on this whole journey with the trilogy and the video game coming out and everything. Yeah, never give up because you don't know what's going to happen with it.
Oh my gosh, that's beautiful. No, and your story is definitely proof of that. I'm so inspired by you, and I'm really happy that I got to sit and talk with you today. I can't wait to read your book Vision as it comes out on August 15th. And for our audience, don't forget to follow Wrenna Stone at Wrenna Stone on TikTok and Instagram. And also make sure you pre-order her book. All the links to follow her and check out her books and stories will all be in the video description. So don't forget to do that before you go. So thanks again for your time, Wrenna. I love speaking with you.
Thank you so much for having me. This has been awesome.
Sweet. Well, you have a great rest of your day.
You too.
Okay, bye.
Bye.